Saturday, May 28 was International Menstrual Hygiene Day, a milestone to further an agenda where no woman or girl is held back because he or she menstruates. Today, we are going to review whether advocacy that we have done over the years about menstrual hygiene is or has paid off. And I will be doing this with the chairman of the Coalition of NGOs in Water and Sanitation, Mr. Iyao Atta Ahim. He's the only man flanked by women. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ahin. And I also have with me in the studio Madame Vicentia Kranti Asante, Programs Director, Hope for Africa Eco Village. Madam, you are also welcome. And Edna Lamte Adenike is a student at the University of Ghana, and she is also here with me by my left. Join us with your contributions via WhatsApp 0557-446-429. When we are ready to pick your calls, we'll put the number to call on your screen so you can join us with your comments, your contributions, and your questions. Welcome once again. Mr. Ayin, probably I should start from you. Last year we tabled some concerns and recommendations to government. Do we have any successes to share so far?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me take this opportunity to commend the various stakeholders who are making an effort to ensure that menstrual hygiene management becomes a lot more, easy, and that access to menstrual hygiene products, facilities, and services are easily accessible.
Right.
To that end, I want to commend the School Health Education Program, for example.
And that is SHEP.
SHEP,
right.
Yes. Media, NGOs, ministries, departments, and agencies, religious and traditional leaders who are making every effort to ensure that we are able to overcome this hurdle. Having said that, yes, last year we made a number of recommendations or proposals to government, hoping that government will take them up and take steps to address these issues. One of them was to ensure that we prioritize menstrual hygiene management, not only in our schools, but also in our homes, because we are dealing with children and women. We also ask government to make menstrual hygiene management products easily accessible and affordable.
Right.
And then we called for the provision of menstrual hygiene infrastructure and facilities. First of all, let me say that menstrual hygiene management products are still expensive. And I'm sure they will attest to that.
Yeah.
It looks like the price is beyond the means of the ordinary adolescent and even women. And so we expect that government will still take the necessary steps to bring this down. And then also, last year, yes, we were quoting figures from 2018, where we said that 30% of public basic schools do not have access to a toilet facility, let alone
a changing
room
right.
for girls.
Yeah.
As of 2020, the figures have changed from 30% to 26% who don't have, which is still high. Of course, we have made
just
some 4% stage, point increase or reduction, but it is still huge. When you translate 26% of public basic schools in Ghana, you are in the region of 8,500 schools. Because
sometimes I say when you calculate it in percentages,
yes,
you do not see the right.
But here you are dealing with almost 8,500 public basic schools, not secondary schools, not tertiary. And when you translate that into number of people, you are in the region of 2.5 million children who are affected. And for me, that is a major issue. And then finally, when you go to many of our communities, and for those of us who travel a lot around the communities, you find that this is still a major challenge for children and adolescents.
Right.
Because many of them do not have the money to be able to buy
sanitary parts,
the right parts, the ones of quality, because they cannot also afford, and they need it. They have to use unorthodox means, including getting boyfriends and man friends and sugar daddies, so they can afford. So they will be able to get these pads for themselves. But as for the 20% tax on sanitary pads, which we talked about, I mean, I think we will discuss it in a lot more detail.
Right.
But I want to remind government once again that this was a manifesto promise. A manifesto promise to abolish the 20% tax on the sanitary pads so that it can be cheaper for the adolescents to buy. Since 2017 to now, I mean, we are getting to the 6th year, and this is still there and making it very expensive. And I think that there's something government can do to make it easily accessible to these children and the women.
Mr. Ahin, if I should summarize everything you have said, then it means we have not made any major breakthroughs.
It doesn't appear to me. What appears to me is that yes, there is that willingness. So when we talk to stakeholders, when you talk to government, that willingness is there. But government is also afraid that, oh, if I take this off, maybe it will affect my revenue stream. But we think that there are several other revenue streams government can follow and make this a necessary measure for menstrual hygiene management. Right. And government has a way they can go around this.
I am happy when men are very vocal when it comes to issues of menstrual hygiene management, because someone will say it affects women and girls, but
it affects all of us.
It affects all of us because the women and girls stay with men at home, so it's a collective responsibility. I would come back to you, so we talk about the taxes. I would want you to ponder over how we can get around it. Is there a way governments can go around it so we achieve a 50-50 balance for everybody to have a breakthrough there? So let me go to Vicentia now. You are also on the ground. You deal directly with the girls, especially those in schools. Paint a picture for us. How is it going at the grassroots?
Thank you very much, and I'm so happy to be here once again. It's menstrual hygiene. The schools, the stories are same, but we are getting somewhere because of the education. A lot of stakeholders, like Mr. Ahin said, a lot of NGOs are coming on board to sensitize the girls, and we are not sensitizing just the girls but with the boys, and also going into our community, sensitizing our women that they should watch out for our girls when they are menstruating for the first time, because some of them don't have any knowledge as to how to handle themselves, so they become traumatized, and it is the teachers that are most worried because they come and a teacher has to take money from his or her pocket to buy a sanitary towel for a girl child. So going to the schools, going to the communities with the sensitization with other stakeholders, the traditional authorities, the Christian fellowship, individuals. I mean, the campaign is really going down, and the media, you are also doing so well, because last year we really had a very good successful program, because a lot of people were calling to us of the rules about how we're doing it, and even inviting us to come to their community and come and teach them how to do it. The girls are having information, the boys are getting information, and we are calling them amazing boys, because we use a short drama for them to dramatize if they should see their friend or their colleague soiling herself, how they'll go about it, and you see the amazing things they do by removing their jacket to just cover
the girls
up. So the information is getting down and they are accepting it, and that's how far we've been.
Right. In this discussion is what we call the period poverty, and that is what we have touched on it, the fact that girls are not able to access the sanitary products because of the cost. We have Edna here, and Edna is here because we want an experience. She's going to share with us how she managed through that time of the month, and whether she was even able to afford the sanitary towels and how she went around it. Edna, tell us, how did you manage during that time of the month when you were going to school? Did you feel jittery? Did you feel you couldn't go because you were afraid you soiled yourself? Tell us, how was it?
Okay, so when I first started using sanitary pads,
I would want you to speak up.
Sure. When I first started using sanitary pads, my mom used to buy for me.
Even before you go to when you started, before you started menstruating, did you have any idea about menstruation?
No, I didn't have any idea of it. It just happened that day. I was in a white skirt and I went to see my mom, and her friend cautioned her that I've sold myself, and she was saying my mom should clear her eyes now because I'm now growing and all of that. As at that time, I still didn't know what menstruation was about.
You had not been taught in school?
Well, let's just say I didn't pay attention to that.
Okay.
So I wasn't having any knowledge about it, and even how to use sanitary pads or any menstruation material to just
take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
So before that, my mom started to help me with that, and so I stayed with my grandma, and I realized sometimes it was difficult to afford a sanitary pad. It got to a time that through a program I met Mrs. Shah here, and gradually she introduced me to the reusable pad, and it's been very, very helpful in a sense that when I don't have money, I don't think of
to buy a sanitary pad.
I don't think of stressing out to get a sanitary pad, right, because I have the reusable. So it's been helpful to me, and I will encourage that girls out there will also get the reusable pads.
But were you comfortable using the reusable?
Yes, it was very comfortable, and it's very, very absorbent in a sense that it won't leak, it won't soil you. It's just as comfortable as the other sanitary pads.
Right. So meaning that using the reusable meant that at the end of the month you did not have to go to grandma to ask for money to go and buy the sanitary towels.
Yes, please.
And so you took that sort of burden from you.
Yes.
Mr. Ahin, this is the story of affordability. So it comes back to the issue of the taxes, and that is what I said you should ponder over. Is there a way we can go around the taxes to reduce the prices of the sanitary towels for girls, especially those in rural areas who cannot even afford to buy food, talk less of going to use the money to buy sanitary towels?
Yes, it is a real issue, and this is a testimony. And when you go to the various communities, especially the rural ones, the situation is even worse. I mean, she might have been fortunate to have a mother and siblings who
are around
and care and be able to support her. But for many of the children and even women in the rural areas, it is a very difficult thing. And so when we call on government to remove this tax, I don't think we are calling for government to do anything extraordinary. I mean, how much does the 20% even fetch government compared to the benefit that we can derive? Look, research has revealed that over 90% of children, the girls, do not go to school when they are menstruating because of the implications. They are afraid anything can happen. The boys can tease. I mean, them. There are no changing rooms. There is no water on campus. There is no toilet, and so it is a difficult situation. And I think that government can go around this by doing a number of things. First of all, I have said it's a manifesto promise, and a promise must be redeemed.
Must be fulfilled.
Exactly, a promise must be fulfilled, and it cannot take 6 years for such a simple promise to be fulfilled. I think that if it is a priority of government, there's a way we can go around this. Whatever is a priority, there is commitment for it, and whatever you are committed to, you are ready to commit resources.
But Mr. Ahin, every year coalitions such as yours issue statements. We read it, then we put it down.
I know you go there.
Then we come back again.
Yes.
Is there a way we can, I mean,
this time around,
let government do what it has said it will do?
Just issuing of statements. I mean, we are going to discuss with every stakeholder what the issues are.
Right.
And if we have to let every Ghanaian know what the situation is, we will do so. Apart from that, these days we are going to government and the corridors of power. We meet them, we go and engage. In fact, next week or so, or next week, we are planning holding a a session. I don't want to mention the purpose of that session, but it is about something that every Ghanaian has contributed to, and we are demanding accountability. And so from now we are going to ensure that government accounts for its stewardship in terms of water, sanitation, hygiene. And this includes menstrual hygiene management. Remember, we had a national conversation on menstrual hygiene management and calling on government to remove the 20% tax. First of all, government has now introduced e-levy. Is it not possible for us to have a small percentage of the proceeds from e-levy going into the provision of menstrual hygiene management products?
And so this is a proposal you table to government?
Yes, and facilities and infrastructure. So that if we remove that tax, I'm not sure it will affect government that much. How much does government reap from it? Apart from that, government recently removed all the toll booths. It is estimated that the toll booths were giving us about 72 to 75 million Ghana cedis every year. Could that not have been channeled to the provision of such facilities and services, so that even if government has to bring it back and explains in this manner, I'm sure Ghanaians will understand. Apart from that, we have introduced a number of taxes on fuel, on other things. I mean, some of them we have implemented for quite some time, and they may have outlived their usefulness. Can government take that off and bring in this? These are all ways by which we can, remove the tax. We even have capitation grant. Is it not possible for government to increase the capitation grant, and that increase will go into the management of menstrual hygiene and all that? Right. So there's a lot we can do. But finally, let me say that for Ghana Standards Authority and the Food and Drugs Authority, who say that the reusable parts...
We would come to that bit.
Yes,
for
are
some
not
people,
certified. I think we have a news for them.
Right.
We have a story
we will come to that bit, because Vicentia will tell us about the reusable parts, because Edna mentioned it, and the fact that during the time when Edna could not afford, and Edna, like any other girls that we see in our communities, could not afford, this is the savior, I'll call it. So
if this was not available,
what would have happened? So Vicentia will take us through reusable parts. How is the campaign going? Then we will come back to the FDA and find out whether it is not yet time to even standardize the reusable, for us to get one unique one that everybody will use, if even that is a conversation that we have to have.
So thank you very much again. It's so sad going to the schools, having education with the girls, and them telling you the kind of products they are using to manage their period.
Some of them use, what do they use?
They are using tissue, they are using cement paper, they are using corn husks, and sometimes in the village they are using the banana leaves. Any leaves they come about, they want to use it because they don't have any means of managing their period. And if you are a social worker, you go and you meet kids like that, you meet stories, it hits you. You want to find out how best you can, solve that problem. So you have to read, you have to research, you have to find out how others are also managing their period poverty. When we say period poverty, it's not about it's a whole campaign on how to manage period. It's about facility, where the girls are changing themselves. The place clean, is the place safe? Are they comfortable? Are they getting the right product to use during their period? How are they assessing themselves health-wise? Some of them get pains, headaches. They don't even feel like going to school or doing anything, and then they are dropped out from school, or school hours is shorting as compared to the boys going to school. Meanwhile, that girl had some high interest to become a doctor or a lawyer. Should normal period prevent that girl child from going to school or attaining whatever success
they want to
attain? So these are the reusable fabrics. Reading, researching, finding out what others are also using. We were used to the old time amonsin. Our grandparents were giving us the old clothes to wrap around, wash, tear, and then fold it out for us nicely. So that's the same product, same idea.
So this is the modern way
one.
of
Just introducing fanciful fabric. These are flannels, and flannels is on the market. It's so soft, very absorbent. It has been standardized. So what again do we want for? So is it about collecting the fabric and assembling it to this that will determine as not being standardized? Girls wear panties and we get infection anytime. Do we throw all our panties away and say that, oh, because of one infection or the other we have to buy a new set of panties? So long as we wear our panties for long, you do not take good care of it, you are prone to infection.
So if this is the first time somebody is seeing the reusable, I want you to demonstrate. I see you have a panty there. How would the person wear it? How comfortable is it? And then we go to how we can keep it clean to avoid infections.
Okay, so you see the different sizes of it. When we go to the schools or into the community, someone will tell you I'm heavy flow, I don't flow much, so they have the preference. Or someone will say I want to use it during the night. So these are the kind of products we recommend. So these are the shirts. So you can see it is made of our local fabric here, and we have a breathable plastic that is so comfortable, lined in it so that one do not soil himself. And then we call this one the liners, made of flannels, very soft, cotton absorber. So you just fold it this way and you insert into the pouch. So we have this pocket designed here nicely so that it can hold the two ends. Sometimes we just use ribbons to introduce.
Maybe you turn it to the camera.
Yes, so you hold it this way. So it is fixed in nicely like this. So if you are a heavy flower, you just double your liners this way. And it's so comfortable. Then you snap it into your panty. So we have the snaps here at the edge so that it can hold the pad into the panty firmly. So here you go. You fix into your panty. Then you snap it at the back. So you are done. So the girl is comfortable and easy to go.
And they will not soil themselves?
They will not soil themselves. You see, it's the first time you're using it. And every product, using it for the first time, one has to learn how to get used to it. So for the first time, maybe you might not feel so comfortable, but as time goes on, you learn how to manage your period with your new product and you are good to go. So this is how it's fixed in, and then they are comfortable to go. So we have the reusable cap, and that's how it feels like.
I want us to dwell a bit more on the cap, the parts,
fabric,
the fabrics before we go to the caps. So let me ask Edna here, the first time you used the reusable, considering the fact that you had also been introduced to the sanitary towels before you were introduced to this one, what was the difference? How did you feel?
Well, the sanitary parts, some of them contain some chemicals that sometimes it makes you were having reactions.
Exactly. Okay.
But with the reusable, I wasn't feeling anything. It was just normal.
You were confident you were not going to be soiled. Why did you have that confidence in it when it was your first time using it?
Actually, my first time using it, that month I had heavy flu, so I doubled the part and I was okay. I was very fine.
Did you ever feel like not going to school because you were menstruating when you were using the sanitary towels before you were introduced to the reusable? Did you ever feel like not going to school because you were...
No, please. Actually, you can't feel like not going to school even if you are not feeling well.
Why?
In my family.
Okay.
No matter what, you go to school. Even if you are not well, you just take a drag and go to school. So menstruation could not actually stop me from going to school. And way back in high school, I was in a girls' school, so I was confident.
Okay, there were no boys among you, so you were confident.
Yes.
How did you take care of the reusables?
Okay, so after after menstruation that I'll have to wash it. I soak them for some time before washing, and because I didn't want anybody to know that I was using reusable, I wash it inside the room.
Why didn't you want anybody to know you were using reusable?
You know, people don't like to see blood.
Okay.
So to me, it's my blood, and I wouldn't want anybody also to see my blood.
But you were washing and you were going to throw out the water, so how was somebody going to see the blood?
I mean, when I'm washing in the house, I live in a compound house.
Okay.
So when I'm washing in the house,
you don't wash it in the washroom. When you are going to take your bath, you wash it before you go and take your bath.
Yes,
that's
please.
It. Okay.
I wash it, like I wash it in a private place so that nobody will yes, maybe the person might stigmatize or something. So that's what I do.
And how were you drying it? If you didn't even want somebody to see you were washing it, how were you keeping it clean?
Well, all they could see was I've dried something. And I remember once someone asked me, is that a face towel? I said, no, it's not. It's a reusable pad. The person was like, it's nice. It looks like a face towel. The person wanted to use it to clean her face, I guess. Like, and I was like, no, if you had seen me washing it, maybe you would have been like...
You wouldn't even want to touch it.
Exactly.
Right.
So, yeah, that's
essential. You know, blood has this funny smell. And if the girls are not able to take care of it, it is going to cause problems. This is a situation where she is telling me she couldn't even wash it in, let me say, public. She didn't want anybody to see it. She talks of stigma. In your rounds with the girls, how were they accepting it? Did you also get people giving you this same account like Edna is giving? And with the washing bit, how were they managing it?
So, per the stories I hear from each community, I use the girls to talk to themselves because peer education works. So, I go when I'm teaching them for the first time, or I'm introducing it for the first time to the girls. I teach them how to wash, or I sometimes even throw the question to them: how would they wash their soiled cloth? So, with that story, you get them to be comfortable, and you also come in with what's best work for them. So, like she said, you soak it as you're going to bath. A pail of water, you soak it for
with warm water or cold water.
Cold water works best. Cold water works best. So when it is rinsed thoroughly, then you add your soap. Then you give it a first wash, second wash, then you rinse it nicely.
And with the soap, any detergent works?
Any detergent work. Any detergent work. Like we're washing our normal panties. Then here we go, you dry. People have the perception that the menstrual blood is dirty blood. No, it's not dirty blood. It's a normal flow that we have as human beings that God has naturally created us to continue procreation. So if we don't menstruate, there will not be you or me. So this is the confidence we are giving the girls, that they shouldn't see it as dirty blood or bad blood and be shy about it. Yes, people don't want to see blood. Yes. So you keep it as clean, safe, and comfortable as you are. So if we talk about it, we need to talk about it. Like she said, she never had the education. We are not talking about it in their homes. This is the time we have to start talking to our girls, our boys, about menstruation, for us to know that it is a normal thing that every girl goes through.
But do they need to iron it when it's dry, or they just don't need?
No, just the sun is okay. If you have iron, when you go to the rural areas, they don't have electricity.
Okay.
So just the normal sun is good for it to dry, kill any bacteria that is growing on it, and then you are good to go. After you fold it back nicely, and then you keep it where you store your panties for the next menstruation, and you are good to go.
Right. I'm sure people will be wondering about the infection bit, but maybe coming from you and how you have explained it, they may understand. But Mr. Ahim, in this talk, we've spoken about the fact that we need changing rooms in schools. I know the Gamma project built some of these facilities and even added the changing rooms, but it's not for all schools. For the schools that didn't benefit from it, how do we go forward? How do we ensure that they also have it under the project? How did we even, you are not part of the project maybe, but you have interacted with them, so you know much about it. How did we even select the schools? And those who didn't get it, how do we ensure that they are not cut out? Apart from that issue is the issue of our maintenance culture. You go to some of the schools, I've been to some of the schools, and you would not want to enter the changing rooms. how do we ensure that those places are clean going forward, even to our public places of convenience? You are a woman and you go out and you are in that time of the month, you would want to dash into a public place of convenience to change yourself, and because of how the place is, you don't even feel comfortable doing that. How do we manage ourselves around all these hurdles so girls and women will feel confident to step out during that time of the month?
Okay, so first of all, let's understand that Gamma is Greater Accra.
Right.
Gamma is Greater Accra metropolitan area.
Right.
So it's only limited to Greater Accra, and even in Greater Accra, not every part of Greater
Even
Accra.
though now they are replicating it in the
Exactly.
Ashanti region.
Yes, and that project, I have always said, has made a lot of impact,
of course.
tested models.
Right.
And I think that this is what government should be looking at to replicate in other areas.
Schools.
As I said, if you have 30% of all public basic schools not having access to a toilet facility, I haven't even talked about water, that must concern you. Because the school environment is not just about the infrastructure, the classrooms. It's not just about the chalk, the slate, the books, the teachers and all that. It is also about what makes the school environment conducive. And here you talk about access to water on campus, access to toilet facilities, changing rooms, so that the life of these children will be comfortable. They will feel comfortable learning. Now, maintenance. And by the way, NGOs are also making huge contributions in this area. I mean, if you put the contribution of NGOs together in terms of access to wash facilities, it is huge, very huge. But when we come to the maintenance issues, it is another, disaster.
That would have to rest on the shoulders of the schools that benefited from the project.
But you remember that Ghana Education Service, with support from some development partners, already has what they call the Wash in Schools minimum standards. They have a costed strategy. They have operational guidelines for O&M, operation and maintenance of wash facilities in schools. And yet, many of these facilities break down and are not repaired. What accounts for that? First of all, we are dealing with policy here. You know that government says now PTAs should not make contributions to the running of the schools.
Right.
And that is what the schools were using to sustain the facilities. Because PTAs were willing to support these schools in terms of operation and maintenance. Now government says, don't do it anymore. You are not required to do it. If I'm not required to do it, then the expectation will be that you will provide it.
But were the schools giving some sort of subsidy?
Of course, they have a capitation grant. But the capitation grant is for the administration of the entire school.
So I meant a subsidy for the maintenance of...
Yes, a small part of it goes into that. But you and I know it will never be enough. And so facilities break down. And these schools are left to their fate. If they don't get any philanthropist, it's difficult for them to maintain these facilities. But I was talking about FDA. You know, FDA and Ghana Standards Authority want to ensure that facilities or products are standardized. Yes, they want to ensure that these products used are safe and healthy. Yes, we agree, that is their mandate. But you see, when you consider the problem that the absence of these reusable parts would have caused in our communities, in our schools, then it is better for us to allow these kids to use these reusable parts. And I'm happy that the practitioners themselves add the education to it. Because they don't just provide the parts, they also give them education as to how to manage them and to keep them clean. There are so many NGOs who are into this space, supporting schools or school children and communities with access to menstrual hygiene materials. Without them, how would these children be coping? And I remember that some time ago, I think government decided to introduce, support for adolescent school-going children in terms of the provision of sanitary pads. And Ghanaians made fun of it because for them, it wasn't something necessary. But if you feel it, then you know how important it is. Right. And I will encourage government to bring it back.
Right. I think I saw in the second cycle schools we had some sanitation leak for second cycles. Yeah. Maybe we may have to introduce it into the basic and junior high schools to see if we will get the maintenance right. And this is Washer. Today our focus is on managing menstrual hygiene. We have a message. Greetings. I've just seen your program about the strain people are having to obtain sanitary pads. I believe the inventor of the sanitary pads name is Edna. Please, I would like to connect with Edna. My name is Mimi. Thank you. I don't know about that, but are you the inventor of the sanitary pad? No, Edna here is not the inventor. But thank you for bringing in your message. You can also join us with your comment and your message on 0557-446-429. It's time for us to connect with you via phone, so you can call us. Please, when you call, do lower the volume of your TV set, because it always does give us feedback, and then we can have a meaningful conversation. The number to call is 0264 000 997. 0264 000-997. We will appreciate it if the men will call us. It's not a conversation about girls and women alone. The men play an important part in this conversation. They support us during that time of the month when we don't even feel like doing anything, but we have the men to rely on. So the men should call us. If you have a girl child at home, how you are managing it for the girl, they should take part of that collective responsibility for us. So call us and let's hear your comments and your contributions. Mr. Ahim, also in this conversation is the issue about taboos and traditions, where some girls are subjected to these taboos when it is time for menstruation. Some girls do have to cross rivers to even access schools in certain communities, but in some communities, when it's that time of the month, you dare not cross that river, and it is also affecting contact hours for some of these girls. How do we also get around these traditions and taboos that are affecting the welfare of our girls?
Yes, when you were engaging Edna, I think you asked a certain question, whether she had any knowledge at all when she had her first menstruation. That is the menarche. And she said no. I mean, this is not a subject area that many parents want to talk about. I mean, in our homes, how many parents talk about menstrual hygiene management? So if you don't get practitioners like Vicentia and others who want to educate the children, so when it happens to them, they know how to manage it, it will be very difficult. I mean, now, these taboos, the least said about them, the better. I mean, how much of a taboo will it be for a girl who goes through her natural, God-given occurrence, monthly occurrence, to cross a river? What happens to that? Than for other people to pollute the water bodies. That one is not a taboo. When we are doing galamsey everywhere, we are farming along the river banks, we are doing all sorts of things in the rivers. That one is not a taboo. But a lady having her menstrual cycle crossing that river becomes a taboo. I think that our traditional leaders and our religious leaders and our officials will need to sit together again and review these taboos. These are the things that is making it difficult for the management of menstrual hygiene and for the children to miss school, because they think that is a taboo to cross. And for these children, the only way they can get to school will be to cross that a river or a stream. So it means that you are saying they shouldn't go to school. It's unacceptable in the 21st century to be talking about these taboos. There are better things traditional authorities and religious leaders will better classify as taboos than this one.
Now maybe we can talk about the FDA. You share that space with Mr. Ahim about the standardization of this one. What's the whole thing about it?
So we submitted all our products, waiting for the result. And I want to commend the coalition.
Hold on to your thoughts. We have Agnes from Lashibi joining us. Hello, Agnes. Thank you for joining us. Right, I understand Agnes has left the line. Please go ahead.
So I want to use this opportunity to say a big thank you to the coalition of CONIWAS. They brought a lot of practitioners together for us to brainstorm on how best we can get the standardization done, because individually have sent our product and they are still not giving us the standard.
Meaning that everybody who has
had access, or the NGOs that's promoting we have now come to realize that the reusable is the best way to go, because the girls can't afford all of that, and they are using any other means to manage themselves during the period. So what can you give them? The best option is to give them the reusable. We don't lure the product on them. Whatever product we have, we sensitize them. You can ask Edna, we had all the reusables displayed on the table, so they come and they choose, but the sensitization you give them, they pick the one that they think.
But do they have a choice when they cannot afford it?
Now they've been given choices to select from the reusables. So
Agnes is back from Lashidi. Let's engage
Yes,
Agnes.
yes,
Hello, Agnes.
madam.
Thank you for joining us.
Madam Bacho, a pardon more trouble, yeah. Pardon more trouble, TV news, no. Me Bacho, yes, ye become now for again. May one and you so ye, but pardon so you're fine.
Mate, Mate, that's it. Just one sister Vicentia, Betty Macho, Sister Vicentia. We do a tree kakrama na
you mean until we say kotokuo na ebesha panty nim na kotokuo no ya the line na bia fema it is rubber nso enya rubber material nti ya the line mu say ya moja no enye den ense wo ho nti ya ye ntoma ni bi wa ha ohun ya ye ne te say handkerchief te say dia me ba ne kan nso enya handkerchief won say ya bobo no nti say netie nti say you obi a moja ne ba bebre a wo de bebo mu mienu nti ba kunie na de ba ko nse kotokuo ni nie eni na be so pad ni mu ama o ebe so ntoma ni mu ama o say na wasa de ba ko na say den aboso se wonye obi a umoja ba bebre a wonye obi a umoja ba bebre a wo be yisu ba ko pe na so you obi a umoja ne eba bebre dia o de bebo ho mienu ti say ya wo manage o period bia no say ya wan kasa be comfortable no eye ba ko 6 na wom nti se 3 na o de be hyem se 4 na o de be hyem ofo se be soki ama wa sa na o de be hyem wo wi a na de aye den a hye o pant ni mu na wa tumu wa ase kama say e be so mama wo nti o sha wo na wo ko no uni obi e.
Thank you so much. Agnes, did you say Vicentia to me what you see? We have Ernestina, I believe, from Dansuman. Hello, thank you for joining us, Ernestina.
Hello, Andy. Good evening.
Good evening.
Please, I wasn't there before you started the program, and I'm interested in how you showed it. I want to know whether it's only this is the face towel or we've added another material to it.
You want to know whether it's only
is it only face towel or another material?
Okay, all right. Stay tuned. She will explain that bit to you.
So,
thank you for calling.
So it is not a face towel. This fabric is called flannels, but I give options to the girls in the school so that they can use an old t-shirt that they've worn that is so clean. They wash it and they can cut it into the size. I teach them how to do it. It should be any fabric that is absorbent. It doesn't have the frills coming out. When you touch the surface, it shouldn't frill.
Right.
It should be something smooth that has been used for some time.
Okay.
That can soak the blood. So you can cut it to this shape. Then you can use it into your reusable pot.
Right. We are receiving a lot of calls on our WhatsApp number. Please, we are not receiving calls on the WhatsApp number. The number to call is on your screen, 0264000997. Please call that line if you want to reach us via phone. Vicentia, we were talking about the fact that you give them choices. I see the menstrual cup. We'll come to that shortly. And I've seen the reusable. But for somebody who cannot afford a sanitary pad, I don't know how much the cup sells for. Do they have a choice? They don't, do they?
They don't. So we offer it. What we do is, if it's a friend's birthday.
Great, please hold on. We have Dominic on the line, and I'm so happy to have a man calling into the program. Hello, Dominic. Thank you for calling us.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, Edna is my daughter, so I'm happy to see her.
Come again.
Yeah, I thought, thank you for the good work, and thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Yeah, I think the man was talking about the issue of taboo and how our chiefs are pushing that instead of looking at the galamsey, which is more serious.
Yeah,
I think that it is something that we have to really publicize it well so that such things can be managed.
Right.
Maybe the idea behind the campaign was originally good, since maybe our old men thought that it wasn't hygienic for young ladies to walk through the waters that they used to drink while they were...
Dominic, I understand you. Definitely there would have been reasons behind the taboos that were there, but I mean, if it is affecting our girls now, there should be a way to go around it. So I understand your point. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And my regards to Edna.
She will hear. She's already smiling, hearing from you. Thank you for calling. Vicentia, please go ahead.
So as part of the sustainability bit in the schools, where we have the disposable choking the sewer lines, and always you have headmistress challenge the girls not having easy, comfortable to change in their rooms. We teach them how to also dispose of the disposable part. So this is the used one you have removed from your panty. So you just hold it at the side so that your hand would not touch the blood. You just fold it on this way, that way, and then you ask them to keep any paper on themselves, any used paper. So you face it back this way on the paper, and then you roll it. You roll it as hard as you can. It becomes so small that you fold the side on it this way, and then you fold the other edge this way. Then you can just push the side inside.
Edna, we have a caller from Tamale, so I believe you are finished with showing us how to wrap that up. When we come back, quickly you touch on the menstrual cup, but I'm wondering, is this supposed to be in their bag till they close if they should change in school? Let's pick that caller. Hello, caller. Thank you so much. You are listening to yourself. Vicentia, please go ahead.
So when it is folded this way,
Hi, thank you for joining us.
I'm Mr. Good.
Please go ahead, your comment or your question.
When it's folded this way, no one knows what you have in there. So you can even put it in your pocket, in your side bag. When you get home, you just put it in your pail and wash it.
Okay.
And if it is
quickly, let's go to the cups that we see. What is it? And
so this is the menstrual cup. They have a lot on the nets, pharmacy shop, on the market that they are selling. So it is made of medical grade silicone. So it's so comfortable to the skin. You can Google it and read. This is how it looks like. And anytime you want to use it for the first time, you boil hot water. When the water is boiled enough, you put your cup in your container. What we advise them to use is any pomade container that is done. You wash it thoroughly, clean. Then you can keep it under your bed, in your locker, so the next time you want to use your cup, you can put it back.
Edna, is this not expensive?
It's expensive.
But so we don't encourage the girls who cannot even afford sanitary pad to also use it?
Exactly. But what Hope for Africa is doing is we are promoting the girls to use it. So we are asking them to come to the center, purchase one.
How much is it?
One, we give it for them for 50 Ghana. So they go and sell it because we are working with teenage mothers.
Edna, girls who cannot afford a sanitary pad of, let's say, 10 cities, how are they supposed to afford
so
this?
That's our work, teenage mothers who are on the streets, and we are trying to take them out of the streets. So we are giving them a livelihood. So they come, they get it and go and sell it to their peers. And
right. We have another man from Kaswa joining us. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening.
You are the perfect important subject. I encountered party members up north in the Lakusi district. I mean, young ladies who could not go to school when they at that time of their, and they were actually using towels and some handkerchiefs and stayed at home because they didn't know, they felt uncomfortable using it while going to school.
Right. So
I don't know why this disposable one is not, the FDA and the CSA are not, no one to accept it. That's the first one.
Right.
I don't even know why this can't be used like the way condoms are used. That's my second point. And the third point is, what will happen to those who say the girl can't cross the river? If there's a bridge, once the girl cross, they'll be able to cross. So I don't think that it is because of that problem of they going to the river and contaminating the river.
The river, that's why.
Bridges.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. And your second point resonates with me, the fact that condoms are a choice, but the girls do not have a choice to menstruate or not. At the end of the month, when it's that time of the month for you, you do have to menstruate. And so I agree with you, the government may have to reconsider taxing our sanitary towels as against the condoms that is a choice for you to use. And I would want to wrap up with you, your final comments, so that I'll come to Mr. Vicentia rather. I would want to wrap up with you. We come to your final comment, and Mr. Ahin and Edna will also take it, and then we go.
So we are saying that the reusables are safe for the girl child to use, and that's the only alternative we can give them, because they don't have access to products and they are getting infection. They are using any other product anyway. So the reusable fabrics are safe, they are comfortable, and they are hygienic to use. There are options. We have the cup. The cup, if you want to use it, you just reduce. Somebody may ask, why this is too big? It cannot fit it. You just reduce one side this way, or you can divide it into two, or turn it into just to reduce the size.
Can young girls like Edna use this cup?
Yes. After the education, you see them coming. We don't push the product on them.
I see.
So they will come to, Madam, I want to use the cup, or I want to use the washable one, and we give it to them.
My final question again will be, do you sell it to the girls, the reusable?
So what we do is, like NGOs, individuals, we are having a birthday party, we want to buy 100, Ministry of Sanitation, Coniwas.
Okay.
Like we are going to a school tomorrow. Coniwas is buying some for the girls to be given to the girls. We have global. We are partners, and we all have seen that our school education program with the reusable product is a way to go, because the disposable ones are one-off. You go to the school and you have like 1,000. You still share. It doesn't reach. They have to call you back. We still need more product to manage our period, and the teachers are also having a bit of it.
Thank you, Essential. We hope the FDA accepts this product so the girls can have something to use at that time of the month. Girls who cannot afford. Mr. Ahin, your final comment, and hopefully next year we will not be sitting here talking about the fact that there are challenges surrounding menstrual hygiene management.
All right, thank you very much. So first of all, quickly, let's prioritize menstrual hygiene management, especially in our schools.
Right.
And make it a core component of our educational structure. Yes. Let's increase access to water and sanitation facilities in our schools, so that when the children get to school and they are in their menstrual cycle, they can have a place to change, they can have water, and they can, keep themselves clean. Let's quickly get the Ghana Standards Authority and the Food and Drugs Authority to standardize and approve the use of the reusable parts, especially in our schools, because they are very, very helpful. And then finally, we want government to fulfill its social contract to the people of Ghana, when it said that the 20% tax on the sanitary pads will be to make life a lot easier for the children who are finding it difficult to even afford the price of the sanitary parts.
Right.
These are our core government, and I don't think we are asking for too much.
Edna is an advocate for the reusables because she's giving us a testimony of how she's now feeling comfortable and being able to go to school even at that time of the month. What are you telling Edna? Yeah, you are in the university now. Yeah. So what are you telling girls like you who are seeing this for the first time? What assurance are you giving them that this is a choice they can make?
Well, I'm saying that they should all patronize this reusable pads because they are very good and it saves money. Of course, I was able to save money for uni. I can boldly say that part of my fees was I had my money like in part of my fees that was paid. So I can say that it's very, very economical. And unlike the other available sanitary pads, like the other commercial ones, this reusable doesn't give infections. It doesn't create any allergic reactions or something. So you all should patronize it, and it's
Thank you, Edna. Thank you so much. May 28th every year. Do you want to say something?
Yes.
Quickly.
So I want to say that the reusable pad reduces cost.
Okay.
It reduces trash and it saves our environment.
Thank you. Perfect wrapping up for me. So next year, May 28th, definitely will be another International Menstrual Hygiene Day, and we are hoping, Mr. Ahen has assured us, he's the chairman of the Coalition of NGOs in Water and Sanitation, and he has assured us that the proposal, the comments that they always give us when it's that time of the year, we are not going to have them again. Next year we are going to have resolute ways of assuring our girls that that time of the month is going to be smooth for them. So I have been doing this with Mr. Yao Atahin. Just as I said, he's the chairman of Koniwas, as they call it. Madam Vicentia was also here with me, Vicentia Krantia Santi, Programs Director, Hope for Africa Eco Village, and Lamte Edna Adenike. She is also a student of the University of Ghana, and together we're trying to wrap up our heads around how to have a smooth menstrual cycle regime for our girls and our women. My name is Winifred Ofum. Thank you so much for being a part of Washa by your text and your comments, your contributions. See you same time next week. Stay safe.